All right, everybody, got a little bit of a different issue this time than a typical drainage video. This is about a refrigerator fix. It's a SamDUNG refrigerator. It's a RF28HFEDBSR, and it's got this twin cooling deal going on, and notorious for freezing up in all sorts of trouble. There's actually a class action lawsuit about it. I'm making a video to show you how to fix this once and for all. The problem with these refrigerators are, this is your back panel right here. This twin cooling plastic and styrofoam cover. It's got an evaporator fan in it. Now, there could be several things that go wrong with this. I'll open this back up again. Now, I don't have all this torn apart to show you exactly, but behind that cover is a coil and a heating element. And sometimes the heating element can go bad, and if it does, that needs to be replaced, obviously. But if you've replaced your heating element, and there's also a temperature probe in there, temperature sensor, if you've replaced that, and you've replaced your evaporator fan right here, and you continue to get freeze ups, which what will happen is after you defrost your refrigerator, you let it melt, take everything out, it's a big ordeal, and you let the refrigerator defrost, or some people put a hair dryer on it. I don't do that. When you turn it back on, in about 2 to 3 weeks, your evaporator fan will start grinding. It'll make a grinding sound, this fan right here. And what happens is ice starts building up around it, and it grinds and it grinds, and eventually, after a few days of that, it'll stop grinding, which means the fan is frozen in place. And once that happens, the cooling stops, and eventually your temperatures raise up and your food can start spoiling, and you don't even know it. You'll think that you're running 38 degrees and you're really 47 degrees, or who knows, even higher than that. So the way to fix this continuous problem, because I've been battling this for years now, like literally years. I've tried replacing so many things. I've replaced, like I said, the fan, the heating element, I've also put that aftermarket drain pan. There's a T that attaches to the heating element, and it goes down into your drain pan to where it keeps that from clogging up from ice. I've put all that in there. I've even changed the main board behind here. So I've changed, behind there is a panel back there. There's a main board that determines when the defrost cycles occur. That turned out to be a waste of money, because that wasn't the problem. But anyway, if you're sure those components that I just previously mentioned aren't bad, then the problem is that causes this to continue to freeze up is the back of this panel is defective. And I have one off here for demonstration purposes for the video. The problem is this cheap foam insulation that comes with these units. It's very thin, and the goal of this is to seal this coil system that sits in here from the rest of the refrigerator, so no moisture gets in there, no additional moisture gets in there, which will cause a freeze up. So what you need to do is you need to go to Home Depot and buy you a couple of things. This first one is this Frost King I went with a 3/4 inch wide by 5/16 inch thick rubber foam tape and some silicone, 100% silicone. And what you want to do is you want to peel off all of this factory garbage foam tape, paper thin junk. Peel it off all along here. Just be careful. If you that's another thing. If your foam is damaged, cracked, you need to buy a whole new cover, and you can get them for $100 on Amazon. Okay, that has to be in good place, good condition. But even brand new, this foam tape is not good enough. So you need to remove it. Do a good job. Remove it very carefully and completely. And once it's all removed, you want to measure out some pieces of this. You know, I wish I would have videoed what I did with the real deal, because you could see exactly what I did, but I'm just going to give you an idea of what you need to do. I'm not actually going to do it because I've already done it. I'm actually returning. This is a new panel that I bought. I'm returning it because I don't need it, because I fixed my original panel by putting new tape on it. So wherever there's tape on here, you just want to peel it off and replace it with the same length of this thick stuff. Okay. This stuff's double-sided sticky, so you can stick it on one side and then peel this off to get it. It's actually not sticky on this side, but that's okay. That's why I used silicone. So what I did is I went and retaped all of my panel, taped all of it, all through here, all through here, 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 and I did not replace this part. This part is a very wide piece right here, and so what you're going to do is put those measured pieces of tape on here, and this is a little tricky through here because this is like an S, and that thick tape is kind of hard to get in place. So just take your time, work it in place, and once you have it all on there, if you look under here, like in a section like this, see how there's a valley right there? A lot of times when you put that tape down, there's going to be a gap, an air gap there. So what you're going to want to do is look very carefully around and fill any gaps with silicone. Okay? Do a real good job on this. Tape it real good, seal all your cracks, and let it dry overnight. Okay? Be patient, let it dry. And then the next day, come and mount this in here. And when you mount it, it's going to feel a little different because that tape is pretty thick. It's not going to want to go all the way in and click these little sides right here, these little clips. They're not going to satisfyingly clip in place like they do from the factory. But don't worry, it's okay. You still have a top and a bottom bolt that'll bolt it in place and hold it. And with that insulation so thick, this new insulation, you got plenty of bind against the back of the refrigerator. This panel is going to be bound to it very well. So what happens is with this factory tape, the board goes into a defrost procedure every certain period of time. I don't know if it's every 8 hours. It's definitely a daily thing. And what I recommend doing to make sure that's working is to pull your back panel off and pull this drain tube out right here, this black tube, and pull it off to the side and make sure it's, so to speak, peeing. Okay, if it is, like you see here, that means your defrost is working. Now, I've been monitoring this for over a month now, and every day I'll come look back here and there's water back here, which is a good sign. That means the defrost is working. Okay, so if you want to know if your defrost is working, that's all you need to do. And what happens is when you're running the factory back panel with this tape, this thin tape, the defrost process on the main board, the one that I replaced and lost my money on that, wasted my money on that, it eventually times out. Because what happens is the air leaks through these cheap little tape cracks. Air gets in there, humid air. It gets back behind here into the coil. And so ice is constantly forming inside of there. And the defrost system is detecting that, and it's trying to melt it. And it can't completely melt it. So what happens is it times out. And when it times out, it shuts down. It won't try to defrost anymore. And when that happens, you're really screwed, because at that point the ice is just exponentially going to build up on you, and once that evaporator fan stops spinning, you're toast. Your refrigerator will warm up and you're going to lose your food unless you take it out. So when you replace the tape, that's not going to happen because it's not going to leak. So the board in the back, the defrost cycle board that I changed, you can't see it in here, but it's behind that panel. It will run its course every day, its defrost course, and just like it was designed to do from the factory, and you will get a working refrigerator like you did for the first few years. I'm assuming most people got a few years out of this fridge before they started acting up on them. That's how it was for me. So that's about it. Just want to post this because I know there's a lot of people out there that could benefit from this information, because I searched high and low and I couldn't find one video that ties everything together about what goes on with these fridges. It just took me a combination of years, literally years of research to find out what is going on to fix this. So follow that advice and good luck. And if you have any questions, post them in the comments and I'll do what I can to answer them. And until the next video, this is Mike Lewis Seela signing out.